Fallout 4 is a game I've played a lot. One thing I've always messed around with is the console command player scale. I did recently wonder how far could I get through the story if I was really small. I did try to go smaller than this, but for the video this was the smallest that made sense. Now animation is tied to player scale in Fallout 4, so I did use a mod to get around that, and I'll link it in the description below. Now other than that, they do say a YouTube video should get going within the first 30 seconds or so. Let's crack on then. First thing we're going to look at is attributes. I thought what we'll do, we'll go with endurance, because I'm so small, as you'll see in a minute, it takes a long time to run anywhere, so the more endurance, the more I can sprint, much better for me. Go and say hello to little baby Sean, who's bigger than me. We got off on our toes right down to the vault, and as you can see, Nate had to slow down and wait for me because he was so slow. Going through this video as well, I've made sure to keep it entertaining and I've cut out all the boring bits of running. I have got a little bit of a comparison in a bit just to show you the speed and show you what we're talking about, but I assure you I have kept this video entertaining, chopped out all the boring bits that you don't really want to see. But first things first, now we wake up and we get out of the cryo chamber. Here is, as you can see, there is a little animation bug that comes with using console commands to make yourself smaller, because animations are tied to player scale in this game, so I found a lovely mod from Acanto 10 over on Nexus Mods. I'll leave that down in the description below if you do want to have a go at this challenge yourself, and it really helped massively. Absolute geezer, can't fault the guy in the slightest. Then we take out the biggest cockroach you've ever seen in your life. This thing absolutely scared me when it jumped out of the ground. I forgot it existed. Run over, pick up the Pip-Boy that she could basically be wearing like a tent at this point. It is massive, but there we go. And I decided to give myself a little rule. Because I'm so small, I decided that I had to be able to jump up to desks, computers, whatever it might be. I decided I had to jump up to them to be able to use them. Now say hello to Cynthia. And it's time for this run to truly begin. Now, jumping over this bridge, I thought, I'm not chancing jumping through these cracks, because if I fall through, it's a long way back. Off we crack over the bridge, and we got to Dogmeat, got to Red Rocket, and we thought, yeah, we need Dogmeat. I'm going to need a companion to soak up some of the aggro and some of the bullets. Jump through the Museum of Freedom, start taking out the raiders. You can see here just truly how big they are in comparison to me. Take out this last guy in the corner, and then it's off to see the gang, including Preston, who looks like an absolute giant in comparison. We jump down, make our way to where the reactor is at the bottom and get the fusion core from in there. Jump up to the computer, happy days. It's time now to pick some perks. Solar powered would be good for endurance, and adamantium skeleton for limb damage. After that, hop into the power armor, which as you can see shrinks down with us, which is brilliant because I was like a little mini Tony Stark, little mini Iron Man popping about. But after I run across this little bit of a bridge, I realised that this thing was stifling me too much and it was slowing me right down. I'm already slow enough as it is, so I decided to ditch the armor, run up to the end of the road because these raiders are soaking up bullets, aggro the Deathclaw because I'm going to have to deal with him at one point, so I thought, let's deal with him while the raiders are still here. Nope, that wasn't working. Nope, that wasn't working. Time for the big guns. Yeah. I tell you what, this dude soaked up some bullets, and I'm glad that I kind of jumped in that doorway there. I was able to stay away from him because I could not have tanked him for very long. After that, I had to look after Dogmeat because he was getting hounded by a couple of raiders, so we took out these bums, and then it's off back to see Preston for the obligatory yeah, we know, let's go, let's carry on, off we go. Run back out, and we chipped all the way over to Sanctuary because I am not walking back with these guys, it takes too long. Vote to Preston, and there we go. That is the Minutemen off with us. Now, the way I decided to do this run was I thought I'll go through the Minutemen quest so I can complete it with nuclear option at the end. So by doing so, that means what I need to then do is take 8 settlements for the Minutemen, and then we can go on to defend the castle, and we can get to the Institute that way. So first things first, we're on our toes to go and look after the first settlement. As you can see, took out the biggest bee in the world, and then I decided after fighting that thing that we really need to put some armour on. I did try and keep the armour as light as possible, so you can still see the synth costume through the run, because I thought it looked pretty cool. And I thought it kind of defeat the objective if you couldn't see the synth. Took on what feels like the biggest dog in the world. I swear to God, Cerberus had been let out. We were on our toes again, and all the way over to 10 Pines Bluff. Now, this was the first of the settlements that we had to take. And I know from here that once this settler comes over, he seems a bit sheepish at first. Shotgun in my face, which is bigger than my entire head. And then he needs us to go over to Vega to deal with some raiders, which we do in orderly fashion by throwing a couple of grenades at Jared's head. There you go. In a bizzle. Take out this last dude, and then we were back off to the settlers to let them know that that had been complete. Spoke to Preston, and that is one settlement down. 7 to go. Next, we head off to Oberland Station, where these guys need a little bit of help. These needed help again with some raiders, so we chipped over into the city, took out Clutch and his little gang of raiders, and there we go. That was settlement number 2 under the ranks of the Minutemen. And again, as you can see here, the sheer size of Preston in comparison to me is just nuts. Honestly, it was really, really fun playing this game this way. Although, I've got to admit, I did have a tendency to like kind of want to start putting my net back like I was small, which was really, really strange. I don't know where that come from, but next one, we were off to Starlight Driving. We just had to sort out a couple of mole rats and put up a beacon and give it some power, and then hopefully later on we'll be able to come back here. As it turns out, I never needed Starlight Driving. I managed to do it with all the other settlements instead, which was a lot easier because having to wait for the Radiant quest to pop up can take quite a while sometimes, so that was much easier. But at the time I didn't know that, so we thought we'll get it set up. Obviously Preston sends me there anyway, get it set up, and then we'll move on. Let's wait till the day, and then we need to go and grab the chemistry station that not many people still to this day know is around the back of Sanctuary. A lot of people do know. If you know Fallout, you know this, but if you're new to it, or you maybe not an explorer as such, you might not know that this is hanging around the back. So because I've got a couple of mods installed, there was a few bits that I wanted to build. Now I'd picked up some materials on my travels, so I built a harness for dog meat, just so he can survive a bit longer, give him a little bit of armor. And as you can see, guy looks like an absolute don in this thing. And I also found that he had a postman mailbag on him, which I thought, yeah, I can have a go with that. Help the carry weight a little bit, seeing as I'm such a wee thing. And now, after we give dog meat his new bit of armor, it was off again to look after the next settlement. And let's recruit some more Minutemen. But as you can see, these little rocks, which are just nothing to a normal playthrough, made me have to go all the way around, which was like quite a running theme in this particular run. So off to the next settlement, and these guys needed me to go and deal with ghouls. Now, I'm not going to lie, this was very, very, very difficult. Ghouls were one of the hardest things to deal with on this run. They move so fast, and I am also moving much slower than you normally could. It took me so long to get through this particular bit. This training yard, I swear to God, was the first point where I nearly quit this run. It was so hard. These ghouls killed me time after time after time, and I eventually managed to get past the glowing one. But I tell you what, he was tough. It took all my bullets, but we kept on. And we got through it, which made me think this run might actually be possible. If I can manage to take down a glowing one, they are some of the toughest enemies in this game. After that, it was on to the castle. That was the 4th settlement, so now we could go and take over the castle. And the castle was, again, pretty tough, I'm not going to lie. These Mirelurks are not quite as quick as the ghouls, but they still can shift, and they were catching up to me really, really quickly. So, it was a case of trying to stay next to Minutemen as much as possible, try and keep myself safe. But then eventually when the Mirelurk Queen come out, she was so hard. I was not doing too bad here, but I was running out of ammo, and then I didn't notice this guy until it was too late. Tried to get a stim pack on, but nope, took me out. Who knows at this car, I'm not even bothering. And then we go again. Nope. Go again. Nope. But eventually we managed to take her down. Not quite as hard as the glowing one, but still gave me some really, really tough times. And then I thought I was getting jumped by this Mirelurk, which was already dead. The Minutemen had wiped it out, but that made me jump. So then after that, it was time to power up the radio, get the Minutemen word out there to the Commonwealth, so they all know the Minutemen are back in town. And there we go. Next, it was off to carry on with the settlements. We still needed 4 more. So, as you can see, Preston was letting us know we got some things to do. So it's time to go and look for the next settlement. Off we went. Now, before I looked for the next settlement, actually, what I did decide to do was go and get Nick Valentine, because I knew if you go into the subway, there's going to be a lot of bullets, a lot of guns, and I was starting to run low on supplies at this point. On the way past, I thought I'd aggro Swan. I saved it before because I knew I wasn't going to beat him. But I thought I'd aggro Swan just to see what he was like, and boom! It didn't take him long to deal with me. It was good fun. You can see it was literally like fighting Godzilla. Anyway, loaded safe back in and we cracked back on. I definitely did not kill Swan. Through the vault, past all the dudes in here, we took out Dino. And then after that, it was time to meet Valentine. Now we met Valentine. This was a moment, this synth to synth. And then we got big synth, little synth, cardboard box. Sorry man, I couldn't resist. After that, we took out Skinny Malone with a couple of Molotovs to the head. Run round, finished him off with a combat shotgun. That was that mission done. So we thought we'll nip home, get some weapons and ammo, and we'll restock because we're struggling at the moment, and we'll crack back on with the settlements. This time we run down to Abernethy Farm, where these guys needed me to go and get back a locket. So we run, got the locket. That's another one under the Minutemen watch. That's 5 settlements down as far as I can tell, because you defend the castle, you take the castle back after 4, so that must be the 5th one. And then yet again we're back on our toes, and we're off to take the next settlement. Now after these settlements are done, we are going to start tackling the story, and that was difficult. After we got Sunshine Tidings, that wasn't too bad to be fair. There was a couple of ghouls, but there was no glowing one or anything like that. A couple of rad roaches, and we were off with them. So that was that one done. Then I thought I'd take a little sit in my office, think about today's work, and then we'll go and see Myra, because we're really in need of supplies to start building things now. And this was funny. Are you a synth? No, I'm not a synth, I'm a human. Like you see, we needed to buy all the copper we could at this point. But we bought a few other things while we were here. Got what we could. And then it was time to build some recruitment dishes at a few of the settlements, because I was thinking when we come back later, hopefully, I may not have been able to catch them then. What we have to do is run down to Somerville Place now. This was an absolute moot. As you can see, I run down the side of, down from Sanctuary, run south and through that way, because that side of the map tends to be a bit easier than if you run down sort of the Spectacle Island side of the map. And as you know, being so small, I need to stay away from as much as I can, because it's really, really difficult. These guys needed me to go again, take some more ghouls, and I got killed again, and again, and again by this glowing one, until finally, remember they had the minigun, managed to glitch in behind these couple of stairs here, take out a couple of his arms, and before you know it, I'd actually defeated another glowing one. So next it was off to Grey Garden. So synth looking after robots, what more do you need? In Grey Garden, these guys needed me to go and fix the water power supply, and I thought I was going to get took out by this super mutant because I had no health and he had a missile pointed at my head. But luckily, I managed to chip away at him just before he got, I think, one of the bullets, or at least that shot to the head, staggered him. And then I had an absolute beast of a fight with these Mirelurks, and this one was really tough. I kind of seemed to be able to cheese it. If I run in and out of a certain doorway, he seemed to run off, which gave me just enough time to be able to pop some shots in him. After that, we were off. And that was the next settlement, Happy. And from that, it's time that we go again. We've only got a couple more settlements to go and we're nearly done. So this time it's Nordhagen Beach. And this one was even easier because, to be brutally honest, I completely forgot that you could just pay the bribe and be done that way. So I thought, yeah, 550 caps, no problem. I'm not bothered about caps on this particular run. Yeah, you go. In a bizzle. Take it. Sweet. I cannot believe how well we were doing getting through these settlements. I really expect them to be a bit tougher. But on saying that, I was about to run up to the Sanguine Ironworks, and yeah, this place was not what I was expecting it to be. Oh my god, my speed made a difference here. Absolute chaos. Anytime these flamers turned up, they were about as hard to get past as the glowing one, I gotta be honest. So, what we did, I did eventually find a method where if I cheesed it in and out of the front door by going backwards and forwards, so I kind of aggro one enemy and then go back in, shoot them up, go back out, managed to get up a bit further into the facility, and I found this little Protectron, so I thought, let's get this guy out as law enforcement. And lo and behold, within 5 seconds of letting him out and programming, the guy was perfect cannon fodder for that flamer, because he would have just absolutely smoked me in that corner. I would not have been able to get away. On from that, we're going to turn up and then we're going to take on him. I'm not going to say his name because I don't understand YouTube yet, but you can see it on the screen. So after a couple of goes with the shotgun, I realised that wasn't getting anywhere. My absolute nemesis of this Sanguine Ironworks, whatever it's called, and that was the flamethrower. This absolutely toasted my man, and he didn't stand a chance. Last little blast round here, boom, and that's it. That's another settlement down. So after I collected what he had on him, took his armour parts, and it's back off to Preston to let him know that we now have another settlement under the Minutemen. Things are going well, Preston. Couldn't be doing better than this, buddy. You normally peck head on these runs, but I'm actually really enjoying going speaking to Preston because it's kind of progress. After that, it's now time to crack on with the story and see where we get with this. We've been neglecting this so far, but that was just because I wanted to get the boring stuff out of the way, get through all the settlements, and then we can crack on because I wanted nuclear option at the end. I want that to be the final point of what we're doing, and obviously I need to get the settlements first. We go and bribe the key off the receptionist for the mayor. So now, it's time to break into Kellogg's gaff, get the cigar, show this to Dogmeat so we can get the scent, and then we run into this Yao Guide. It was an absolute beast. Took me down a couple of times, I'm not going to show all the deaths, but still. Next, we are on to Fort Hagen, in the building where we find Kellogg. So what we have to do is make our way down. We battle through synth after synth after synth. It just went on and on and on. Bearing in mind, me and Nick Valentine are both running in, so this is synth on synth action. Oh yeah. And there's only one thing to do with this guy, and you know what we're going to do here. And we're going to whip the guns out, and it had to be the flamer, because this thing has helped me out massively getting through here. Once we got through that initial bit, this flamer's done wonders. And as you can see, Nick Valentine put the last finishing touches to Kellogg for me. As you can see, here is the illustrious Predwin flying over, and even though I've played this game many times, I still love the image of that coming over. After that, we headed to the memory den, where Nick was about to get his brain poked, and then I was about to jump in the chair next to him, which you'll see any moment, and we're going to run down the brain dance. Brain dance, wait, that's the wrong game, that's Cyberpunk. Never mind. I'm calling it a brain dance from now on. Once we both had our heads tinkered with, we get the brain dance. We run through there all the way to the end where we see Corsa and Kellogg have a bit of back and forth and then teleport away, leaving Kellogg all on his lonesome. Now after that, it was a run through the glowing sea, and I got to be honest, the only thing of note that happened was the Deathclaw outside Virgil's cave ran away. Which I ain't going to complain about. He was well hearted, he was absolutely tanking me. Awesome. So we spoke to Virgil, which completes the glowing sea, and that was an absolute... I'll be honest with you, I was expecting that mission to be really difficult, but it turned out it was one of the most uneventful things of the run. Like I say, the only thing that happened was the Deathclaw coming running after me. So we raided this box. They headed off to look for the Corsa. You have to, of course, follow the radio transmission and the frequency, and then you get up into the CIT building, and then we fight the Corsa at the top. Now, the Z247, this guy was a bit of a beast, but again, the flamer come out, and it helped me out massively again. It's an awesome little weapon this, and it's got me through a couple of tough spots. And there we have it, the Corsa chip. Next thing, we had to go and deal with the railroad because I couldn't be bothered doing all their missions, getting Tinker Tom to decrypt the code. So if you do it this way, you can just use the computer yourself. And seeing as this is just a run to see whether this can be done, I'm not bothered about preserving people and preserving factions. Everyone can go in this for all I care. After that, I realised that before we could carry on with the story, I needed to do the Old Guns mission where Sarge gave me a bit of grief but eventually got past him. Now we've done Old Guns, it was time to go to the Institute and speak to Father. After speaking to our son, it was then time to get back out onto the overworld and go and do the mission Defend the Castle. Now this was an absolute slog, as you can imagine. I was really small, especially when you come to the courses. They move really quickly, so to try and keep up with these guys on the battlefield was like next to impossible. It was really difficult. There did seem to be a bit of a channel here where 2 or 3 courses had all kind of camped out, and they were really tanking the bullets off the Minutemen, but we did eventually, boom, swing at him with a mini baseball bat that might as well be a toothpick at this point, but one of the Minutemen kindly finished him off from a distance for me. And that brings us on to the final mission, Nuclear Option. I can't believe we actually got here. I thought this was going to be more difficult than it was. Not to say that it was easy, but I expected it to be harder. This last fight in this particular room was absolute chaos. I must have died 4 or 5 times trying to get through here. And on the last attempt, I just got lucky. The Minutemen absolutely tanked some of these Simps for me. They tanked the two legendary Simps, the A2018, and the other one, the named legendary Simps that carry heavy weapons. They are really hard. After this, all that was left to do was to go to the reactor and plant the explosives. I had time just to say hello to Sean and make sure we could bring Sean with me, because I'm not going to leave my son there. I'm not that cruel, even though I'm a mini simp. I'm not going to leave my son to perish in the middle of this facility. So off we went. Let Sturgis know that we can now be teleported out of here. And it's time. I can't believe we got here. Now, as you can see, this run was nearly over right at the death, because I could not for the life of me get onto this box. So I decided to roll over a barrel, do a bit of cheesy jumping, and it seemed to work. And with a click of the button, that's it. The Institute is no more. I genuinely can't believe I got to the end of this run. It took me about 10 hours in total. Obviously that's not including the video editing and stuff like that afterwards. But a really good challenge, this one. I had a lot of fun. I really didn't think it'd be possible to get through Fallout 4 as a mini character. Obviously, with the aid of a few mods, it did make it possible. Please don't forget to check that mod out. I've left the link in the description. If you're really interested in doing a playthrough like this, in the description. Really useful. And with that, all there is to be said is yes, it seems that you can beat Fallout 4 as a mini synth.